Alright guys and girls, this is Bagofsoup coming at you with a little look back on last weekend's test server, August 12th and 13th. The biggest thing we were checking out was the new map, and as you can tell right away, this looked very familiar. Matter of fact, it reminds me of just a month or two ago testing out the new cargo ship map that we were checking out. Looks very similar. I don't know if this was just an early version of the new map that we got last weekend, or if there are two separate ones, but we'll see some differences between the two. The setting, color of the sky, design on the deck of the ship, even the type of ship that it is, and kind of see if it's gotten better or worse since the earlier look. Of course, now you can see the ship. I'm not even sure if this is the same thing. The earlier ship looked like a cargo ship. You can see another ship off in the distance. We know it's on water, but check this out. You can see engines here. And this is much more like the Helicarrier from the Avengers. So I don't know if we went from a cargo ship to a Helicarrier, but we know it's on water for sure. You can see water out there. You can see some other tankers or other ships out there. The other thing that has changed is the color of the sky and the shading on the buildings, kind of like a sunset reflection everywhere. But once again, I don't know if this was an improvement or not. From last time. I kind of liked the basic shapes and colors of the cargo ship. This has more detail, but it's kind of hard to tell when you're actually blocking fire behind some of these objects and what fire is getting through. Of course, the other thing that we were testing out is beacon rush mode here with the new map, and we'll talk about that. That could be a little problematic with a straightforward map like this. Of course, we had the Rhino speed-ups in the new update 3.0. We were testing out the Raijin with the new Bastion effect. When you go into shield mode or Bastion mode, you'll do more damage. And finally, the Descend robot, or the Inquisitor, or the what I call the Grancelalker, the Griffin type bot with the Lancelot type weaponry and the jump of a Griffin and the stealth of a Stalker all mixed together is at play. We'll talk about that as well. And of course, we had the return of the Flamethrower, so we had to bring that out again. I like the Flamethrower design. I like the weapon effects. I like how this time they made it where it doesn't penetrate through Ansel shields. I thought that was a good change, because before it could penetrate through any shields. But it definitely don't want to use it as close up as a Thunder. If it's got 300 or 350 range, you want to stay back out of the range. And of course, you can see beacon mode into effect here. The biggest thing I really want to talk about from this last weekend's test server is the Grancelalker. The big issue this past weekend was that there was a bug where you could pretty much almost jump as often as you wanted to. I know we've seen that bug before with this robot a few months back. And sometimes it was hard to tell that you could do it. Sometimes it would just leave the ability on all the time. Or sometimes if you just hit the jump button during the countdown before you could use it again, you could use it automatically. So some players may not have realized that you could just jump over and over and then always have that stealth mode engaged. But those that did really took advantage of it. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I almost didn't post a video from this last weekend. It became hard to get any footage. You saw my Rhino get taken out already. You saw my Fury get taken out with my flamethrowers as well. And that's because we had a bunch of jumping Grancelalkers that you couldn't target. They would jump and be in stealth mode, and then by the time their stealth mode ran out, they would already be jumping again. It became quite an issue. We had guys racking up a million damage because they were running 5 of these things. And if you weren't running one, you really didn't have much of a chance against them. Also, as much as, say, I didn't want to use the automatic jump, once I figured out that it would work, even if the timer wasn't showing it, in other battles, you kind of felt like you had to. In order to survive against these other guys, the only way you could do that was jump with them and also go into stealth. So basically, it just became a point where everybody was jumping all the time, and you really didn't get to test out other bots and setups, and you really didn't get to see how strong or not strong the Grancelalker is. So that became a big issue this weekend. But let's talk once again about this bot. I've already reviewed this bot before with different setups. It is a pretty neat bot. I really feel like they're trying to replace the Griffin with it. because it's a little faster, a little stronger, with a little extra special ability. This is one of the setups I really like. The Ansel Terran, just like an Ancelot, is very effective because, number one, you can jump away with this bot and go into stealth mode if you're facing heavy fire. Plus, the Ansel shield will deflect a lot of that if you're in between jumps, and you still have enough firepower with the 2 Terrans to take down other bots. So this became a great setup. And of course, you can see the lag that we were also dealing with this weekend. Not just the jumping Grancelakers, but also the lag made it really hard to test pretty much anything. But I really did like the Terran Ansel setup and enjoyed it. And despite all the Grancelakers jumping around everywhere, making it almost impossible to target them, it was still fun to get to use the bot again. But once again, the issue with this bot is a lot of people are wondering if it's too overpowered. Faster than Griffin, more firepower like a Lancelot, plus the jump and stealth mode. And this weekend, with the constant jumping of the Grancelakers, did not help its case at all, because we weren't really able to test out anything else, as you can see as I'm dealing with this guy taking advantage of the constant jumping. Another thing I want to discuss here is the idea of this map. I like the straightforward idea of this map. I think it's pretty interesting, whether it was the cargo ship or this helicarrier, because there are different levels that you can maneuver across the deck of the ship. But the problem for Beacon Rush mode is it is straightforward. And I really felt like that this map doesn't really highlight the possibilities of Beacon Rush mode like other maps. Because all you're doing is just getting to the closest beacon and fighting it out, and there's not a lot of lateral strategy, which makes it difficult. So I wasn't a big fan of this map for Beacon Rush at all, but in regular domination I think I would like it. Now this is my other second favorite setup on the Grancelalker is the Thunder Orkan, just like on a Lancelot. Once again, I'm having to deal with these guys taking advantage of the jump over and over again. Couldn't help that, but this is still an amazing setup, because unlike the Lancelot, you can jump and stealth and get closer to your enemy up close before you use your weapons to take him out. So this setup has a lot of promise, whether Ansel Terran or Thunder Orkan. So it was fun. And of course, we are checking out the Raijin again this past weekend. The big change was the extra firepower in Bastion mode. You go into shield mode, and you can't move, but you get 50% more firepower. So already people are dreaming of using this in Beacon Rush mode with Thunders, and getting basically 50% more firepower is like having a third Thunder on there like a Fury, but instead of having that physical shield and more speed. But my issue with the bot, once again, is it's got a physical shield that does nothing to protect against rockets. So not only all weekend was I dealing with the Grancelakers jumping all the time, which made this bot almost impossible to test, but you are just a rocket magnet anywhere you go. So I just don't know how this bot will do in Beacon Rush mode, even with the 50% extra firepower in Bastion mode. But I think the Raijin would do great as a sniper still. Imagine with Trebuchets, Tempests, Tridents, or Zeus, the ability to basically have a third weapon up there with that 50% extra firepower is once again like having a Fury, but with a physical shield. So I think it's a neat idea for the Raijin, but I don't know how well Thunders or Flamethrowers are going to work up close with rockets being such a big deal. So those were a lot of the things we tested this weekend. It was hard because of the lag, and it was hard because the Grancelalker was just jumping around everywhere. It was just hard to get usable footage, to be honest. Of course, we're excited that the Rhino got the speed up, and it should be hitting Apple any day now for the 3.0 update. I'm excited to check out the Grancelalker and see how it does with the Thunder Orkans or the Ansel Terrans or any kind of setup. But I'm still not quite sure if it's not too overpowered, and this weekend did nothing to help that with the constant jumping bug. So hopefully Pixonic can fix that. We need to test this guy out against other regular bots and just see how overpowered it is or not, and see what needs to change. Once again, the Raijin, it's an exciting idea to put the shield up and get 50% more damage, but in this current rocket meta, you're just going to be a magnet for damage up close. So definitely for sniper. The Flamethrower was neat. I like the design on it. I like everything about it, other than, once again, it's not a Thunder. Getting closer doesn't really help your damage. What really helps is staying at the max level of your range, whether it's 3 or 350, and using it. I do like that they made it not be able to pass through energy Ansel shields. I think that was helpful as well. So that was the test server this weekend. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully they'll fix the lag and the jumping bug, and we'll get another shot at that map in those bots and see how it goes. This is Bag of Soup. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the section below. Click like if you like the video, and please subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. And I hope you have a great War Robots day.